Good day, everybody. Good day. Welcome to The Zone. Your host, Loyal Ellis. Lots to talk about. The People's National Party, the PNP, is positioning itself as if it is the party that is champion of the people, right? And so much so that they are searching and searching to find something on the JLP, on the present Andrew Holness-led JLP government, right? Not realizing the PNP's past, and I'm here to remind you folks of the violent past of the PNP, right? The violent past of the PNP. Again, this is The Zone. I want to talk about mostly the 1976 state of emergency by the PNP, led by then Prime Minister Michael Manley, right? And I want to talk about it briefly. Edward Seaga was leader of the PNP, was leader of the JLP in the 1970s. Well, up until 2005. But Edward Seaga could have. I kept asking myself this question: Who has an election during a state of emergency? Right? Which country would do that? Which leader would do that? Who does that? Huh? Because understand something. Under a state of emergency, your actions, there can't be any gathering. Right? Your action, your movements are limited. Right? And if I remember correctly, during the state of emergency, it lasted for 1 year. June 19th, 1976 to June 5, 1977. A whole full year, right? During the election campaign the election was held on December 15, 1976. In the thick and thin of the state of emergency, it restricted political campaigning, and there was as I understand it, a committee that was responsible for any advertisements that were to be put out there by both political parties. The committee has to pass that, has to give a go ahead, review those advertisements, and so on and so forth, right? Edward Seaga understand this, could have boycotted the JLP under Edward Seaga, could have boycotted the election of 1976, which any person who believes in democracy, well, Seaga believes in democracy very much, but the JLP could have boycotted the election on the basis that it was not free and fair, and especially since it was being done under a state of emergency, which restrict the political campaigning of the opposition. Right? He could have boycotted it, and he would have had good reasons for doing so. Right? But he believed this concept that the people of Jamaica deserve a parliamentary opposition was rooted in his thinking and in his thinking and in his belief. And so the JLP went ahead and contested the election, knowing full well that they would lose because they were at a disadvantage. Members of the JLP, top level members of the JLP, were being detained at Upper Camp. Pernell Charles, Olivia Babsy Grange, Ferdy Yap, Stevenson, and hundreds of JLP supporters were detained. That puts the JLP at a disadvantage, right? And put the PNP as being in the position to a better position to win. But the Edward Seaga JLP went ahead and contested the election, knowing full well they were going to lose, and they did lose. Right? Sorry. Right? They did lose. And they remained in Parliament to give a voice to the people who wanted a check on this tyrannical government led by Michael Manley in the 1970s. Right? I mean, it's something I cannot understand. Why have an election during a state of emergency, right? Welcome back to The Zone. Under the state of emergency of 1976, Karam Josephs, the JLP's candidate in, I forgot the constituency in Westmoreland. I believe his name was Karam Josephs. Am I right? I believe so. He was detained. He was the candidate. He was detained from the opening of election 7 to 5 on the basis that he was a threat. The entire day of election he was not prevented. He was prevented from participating. And after 5 he was released. So he was not a threat after 5. He was not a threat after 5, right? The evils of Michael Manley's administration of the 1970s is startling, right? And people are getting upset because the Prime Minister Andrew Holness, criticized Michael Manley. Huh? I am not even going to talk about the Green Bay episode on this show right now. I'll save it for another time. Right? But I want to talk about the state of emergency. Right? Before I go there, let me say this. Prime Minister Andrew Holness apologized for the 1963 Coral Gardens incident that involved the Rastas. Prime Minister Holness apologized for the 2010 invasion of Tivoli Gardens when they were going after, when the security forces were going after Christopher Dodus Coke, in which a lot of innocent people lost their lives. He apologized for that. But the PNP refused to apologize for the 1976 state of emergency, among other things. Green Bay killings, Orange Lane fire, Gold Street massacre, and so on. They refused. Over 600 persons were detained under the 1976 state of emergency. Right? These people were beaten and brutalized for months leading to the re-election of Michael Manley-led PNP. And persons who were detained, as I said, were Pernell Charles, Olivia Babsy Grange, Ferdinand Yap, right? And many others, right? And the PNP has refused to apologize. Why? Right? They were all detained at Upper Camp. And there was a commission of inquiry led by Justice Smith. The Smith Commission revealed that the 1976 state of emergency was predicated upon the facilitation of partisan politics and no concerns about national, and not concerns about national security, as stated by Michael Manley. Let me say it again. The Smith Commission that looked into the 1976 state of emergency revealed that the state of emergency announced by Michael Manley was predicated upon the facilitation of partisan politics and not concern about national security, as stated by Mr. Manley. The commission also revealed that the special branch of the police, which is the intelligence arm of the police at the time, also revealed that the special branch of the police and the military intelligence unit of the army of the JDF, these men that head those two agencies said, as revealed in the Smith Commission, that they never advised Mr. Manley of any potential threat to national security. Those two agencies did not advise Mr. Manley of any potential threat to national security. So where Mr. Manley got his reasons from, I don't know. Right? Head of special branch of the police, Deputy Commissioner of Police Curtis Griffiths, testified to the commission that he knew nothing about the intention to declare a state of emergency. He said he read about it in the press, right? Although he was Chief Intelligence Officer of the government. Let me repeat. Head of Special Branch of the Police of the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Deputy Commissioner of Police Curtis Griffiths, testified to the commission that he knew nothing about the intention to declare a state of emergency. Right? He said he read about it in the papers. And although he was the Chief Intelligence Officer of the government. Right? And Captain Carl Marsh, head of the Military Intelligence Unit of the JDF, also gave testimony saying he advised there was no need for a state of emergency. Right? He advised there was no need for a state of emergency. Right? So if the head of the police intelligence, Deputy Commissioner of Police, Curtis Griffiths, and Captain Carl Marsh, head of the Military Intelligence Unit, both intelligence arms of our security forces, did not see any threat to national security, did not advise the Prime Minister of a need to declare a state of emergency, then what the hell led Michael Manley to declare a state of emergency? Only God alone knows. Right? What led him to do that? Was it Spy Robinson? We will get into that colorful character at some point. Right? He was given a gun by the government. Spy Robinson. Albert Spy Robinson. Right? What led Mr. Manley to declare a state of emergency? So Mr. Michael Manley lied about the reasons for a declaration of a state of emergency on June 19, 1976. He lied. And people are praising Mr. Manley as this wonderful person. Right? People are praising him. Huh? People are praising him. Right?
What
Welcome back to the zone. People are just, I see the PNP defending Michael Manley, Saint Michael Manley, right? And his character, in my view, was a flawed character. Well, nobody's perfect, right? But it is claimed that he loved black people, right? That's what it is. That's what it is said. He loved black people. But 5 black people were executed. 5 black people, black Jamaicans, plucked from his constituency in Kingston, East Central Kingston, Central Kingston, South Side, right? Plucked from his constituency. Mr. Manley was Minister of Defense, controlled the army. The army comes under directly under his authority, right? As Defense Minister. And 5 black Jamaicans were murdered by agents of the state. The JDF, right? How do we explain that? How do we explain that? Huh? One escaped to tell the tale. And his Minister of National Security, Dudley Thompson, said at the time, no angels died at Green Bay. Right? The only crime was there were supporters of the JLP. That's the only crime they committed, as far as I know. And we're talking about Michael Manley as if he was a saint. Huh? What does the PNP intend to run their election campaign on? Huh? What is it? Bearing in mind that the first recorded history of anybody being killed in a political violence was in West Kingston. Edward Seaga's driver was killed, shot and killed, no doubt, by supporters of the PNP in 1962. In 1967 it was, right? The PNP has got to apologize to the Jamaican people for the crimes committed against them in the 1970s. They have got to apologize to the Jamaican people for the 40 scandals that occurred under their watch in their 22 years in office from 1989 to 2007 and from 2011 to 2016. Right? In my next show, I will talk about the eviction of supporters of the JLP from Rima, I believe it was Rima, in 1977. The forceful eviction. And I will go into details about the Green Bay killings. Right? I am here to remind the people of the atrocities of the PNP of the 1970s. right? I'm here to remind the people about it. The sad history of the PNP. The sad history of the PNP. The people need to know. And the PNP need to apologize to the people. Who has an election during a state of emergency? Right? The state of emergency, first of all, in 1976 was called on the basis, was predicated upon lies, and was called basically to suppress and to silence the opposition, JLP. And I wonder, when Mr. Seaga won in 1980, why didn't he create a commission of sorts, or instruct his Justice Minister or Attorney General to look to investigate and possibly prosecute members of the PNP, of the then ruling PNP in the 1970s, right? To prosecute them for the crimes committed against the Jamaican people. But Mr. Seaga was too decent, too much of a gentleman, and so he did not. May his soul rest in peace. Mr. Manley is no saint in my view. Right? Folks, thanks for listening, and I will dive more into the sad past of the PNP in the 1970s. There's a lot more to talk about. Right? Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week, same time, same place. Have yourselves a wonderful, wonderful day. White cliffs of